a social work intern with Georgia State University, and I serve as an advocate for our Student Victim Assistance Department. Before we get too far into this video, I do want to warn you that there are some triggers that we're going to be talking about. So if you have been the victim of domestic violence, stalking, any victim of crime, please proceed with caution. There are some topic points in here that may be triggering. With that said, we are at the 75 Piedmont building, which is actually home to our mental health services and our student victim assistance department. We are on the second floor, but that's not why we're here today. Today, we are here to talk to you about domestic violence and stalking with our very own Officer Mims. So come with me, see if we can find her. Everybody, this is Officer Mims, and she's going to be talking with them here today, so let's go for a walk. So we are here today to have a coffee chat exclusive with Georgia State Police Department's very own Officer Mims. If you don't know, January is the month of our stalking awareness. Stalking oftentimes can be used as a joke, and you may have encountered this before when people are crushing on someone else and they might use the term very loosely, like they're going to stalk the person to find out more about them, whether it be their social media, just it's used very loosely, sometimes in a joking manner. And our goal today is to bring awareness to the fact that stalking and domestic violence is anything but a joking matter.
Right.
And so with your personal story, I'm hoping that we can start to shift and change the narrative a bit, to just bring awareness to what it is and what it isn't. How old were you when you first experienced domestic violence?
When I first experienced domestic violence, it was my junior year in high school, so I would say 16, 17. That's when I experienced it. I had my first child at an early age, so I had him at 17, and I would say shortly after that, that's when my situation started. Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
I was young.
Mm-hmm.
I was a teenager, so that takes a play into a lot of the trauma that I had been through.
Sure. So
with that situation.
At 17 is when that was the delineation. That was when you remember the first incident of domestic violence. Yeah, that was definitely an age. How long, if I may ask, did you stay in the relationship after that first experience?
So, and what I can say, I didn't stay long.
Okay.
And to me that's a blessing, because a lot of young women don't really know when to leave. They don't really get the signs where this is just not for me. But with the support system and my parents and my family and just sharing what I was going through, I had support and I had people to help me get through it. So it also showed me, this is not how I want to live,
Yeah.
Regardless of me being young at my age and having a child, it doesn't give a person a right to mistreat you or, abuse you, whether it's mentally or physically, and you just have to know when enough is enough. And, it's hard. It's hard, especially when it comes to certain family and friends, because you're going to get people who just don't understand. They don't understand. I don't understand why you do this or why you're going through this. But if you have never been in that situation, if you have never been under that type of control, you don't have a right or space to tell someone how they should feel or when they should leave. But being supportive to that person means more than anything. You know what I'm saying?
What does that support look like? How did you experience
So
that support?
Well, with my support, they'll just tell me, this is not what you want. What do you want your life to be? How do you want to live? Do you see yourself going through this? And no, I don't. But it also takes a strong-minded person too. And when in a lot of these situations, it can be male or female, so I'm not going to discriminate. So it takes, they want that control. And once they feel like they have that control, it's hard for that person to break away. And then that's when mentally, physically, abuse comes in. And it makes them even more scared to leave. But when you have someone who's constantly there and not judging you, but just there when you need them, those are the ones who's going to eventually help them, leave that situation. Not saying that it's everybody, but that's why we get out here and we speak and we talk to women, because it can be a hard situation and nothing is easy. So,
was there one thing or event that led you to leave?
That's a hard one. I won't spill too much, but I will say this. My main, I think, event, because it was multiple events, but this event, it wasn't physical. It was more mental. Okay. More telling me what you're going to do to me. So when you have someone come to you and say, I'm going to kill you and your child, or I'm going to stab you and your child, and you constantly get phone calls, and I know we're talking about stalking. So in that situation, I remember my grandma's phone at that time was ring. I think I had, because that time we didn't have cell phones like that. We had house phones, so you can see the call IDs. And I want to say he called maybe 250 times.
Wow.
In less than 24 hours.
Okay.
And the next thing I know, he popped up, and I think at that point, you have to really just tell yourself, like, if I don't take this serious, this time is the time to take it serious. So, I did what I was supposed to do. I called authorities. I got my restraining order. I went to court, and I handled it from there, and I just never been back. But stalking can be just as terrifying, because
Absolutely.
You can be anywhere, any time of the day, and someone constantly telling you what you're doing, what you have on, what time you got home. That can be very frightening, especially for me as a teenager. I couldn't really go out and have the fun that I wanted to have. Will I say I lost friends? Yeah, I lost a lot of friends, because they just couldn't understand, why would you allow this to keep going on? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So as I got older, I found my strength. Well, I'm not going to say I got older. It was only like a year and a half. But, within that year and a half, I found my strength, and I knew what I wanted, and I knew what I didn't want in my life, and I made a change.
Do you feel like you had a safety plan, or you were... Tell me about that. Do you feel like you had a safety plan?
No.
No? Okay.
No. I got to the point where, I'm not going to say that. I just got to the point where, I'm going to protect myself at all costs.
Sure.
So I didn't have a safety plan. I didn't have no one sitting down. I didn't have a therapist. I didn't have any of that. But what I did have was family, close friends that understood me and gave me good advice. And I stuck to it, and I stood my ground. And after a while, he just backed off. Yeah. So in the situation, it starts with you. Once you leave, then I feel like the help comes after that. But it's up to you to stick with that.
And I love that our departments collaborate the way that we do,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because you are living in the experience,
Right.
and you are living on the victim side in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
You're living through the victim side not only as a professional,
Mm-hmm.
but also in a personal way. And you're talking with, I'm assuming, the perpetrators and the victims. And then we here on the advocate side are working strictly with the victims.
Mm-hmm.
So I love that collaboration that we as departments get to talk about how to best help students. Again, as somebody who has been through it, I think that is key, and that is crucial, so that students, both male and female, feel safe talking, because like you said, nobody's going to understand it unless you've lived through it.
Right.
And
you get a lot of people who just don't understand because they never walked that trail before.
yeah,
They don't know what it feel like. But you can always get somebody from the outside to tell you what you should and could have did. But you can't do that.
right.
You know, it's being supportive, being there, being helpful, being understanding, being just an ear
Yeah,
to
yeah,
that person. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So
I love that.